Good morning, students. Today we will study the important characteristics of an amplifier, like gain, bandwidth, its frequency response, input-output impedance of an amplifier. In the previous class, we have studied how a transistor is acting as an amplifier and the different configurations of amplifier. Today's class we are going to know the gain of an amplifier. What is the gain of an amplifier, and the representation of gain. What is the need of representation of gain in decibels? A gain of a multi-stage amplifier, and frequency response of an amplifier, bandwidth of an amplifier, and the importance of gain bandwidth product. So by the completion of this period or the class, you will be able to know the gain of an amplifier and the representation of gain in decibels. What is the need of representation of gain in decibels? A gain of multi-stage amplifier, frequency response of an amplifier, and bandwidth of an amplifier, and the significance of gain bandwidth product of an amplifier. So coming to the gain of an amplifier, the gain is defined as the ratio of output electrical quantity to the input electrical quantity of an amplifier. So here the electrical quantity may be a voltage, current, or a power signal. Accordingly, the gain can be named as voltage gain, current gain, and power gain. So it is the ratio of output electrical quantity to the electrical input electrical quantity. That electrical quantity or electrical signal may be a voltage signal or current signal or a power signal. So accordingly, the gain is named as voltage gain, current gain, and power gain. If the amplifier raises the gain of the voltage signal, then it is called as voltage gain. If the amplifier increases the current, then it is called as current gain, and if amplifier increases the power, then it is called as power gain. So it is simply the ratio of output signal, ratio of output signal to the input signal. The input signal may be either a voltage, current, or a power signal. See here the representation of voltage gain. It is AV. Always the voltage gain. Here the gain is represented with the letter capital A, and the subscript V here represents the voltage. So voltage gain. Representation of here, this capital letter A indicates the gain, and the subscript V indicates the voltage. So it is called as voltage gain. AV is called as voltage gain. And similarly, we have so here the voltage gain is the ratio of output voltage V out by V in, input voltage V in. Similarly, the current gain again represented with capital A. So here the capital A represents the gain, and the subscript small I represents the current. So AI here, AI represents the current gain, is the ratio of output current I out by I in. Similarly, we have the power gain AP. Again, the gain is represented with capital A, and P, the subscript P indicates the power. So AP is nothing but the power gain, the ratio of P out by P in. The block diagram of here, see, we can see the block diagram of two-stage cascaded common emitter amplifiers cascaded. That is, the output of first stage is going to be connected as input to the second stage. So where we need the gain further the gain of the first stage amplifier is not sufficient, then it will be amplified further by the second stage amplifier, where here the gain, overall gain of the two-stage amplifier is the product of the first and second stage gains of the first and second stage amplifiers. So the gain of a multi-stage amplifier is the voltage gain of the first stage is given by AV1. Here the first stage amplifier is given by AV1, where A is the gain and V is the voltage gain of 1 is first stage. AV1 is the ratio of V2 by V1. See here in the figure. So in the first stage, V2 is the output voltage of the first stage and V1 is the input voltage of the first stage. So the first stage voltage gain is the ratio of V2 by V1, because V2 is the first stage output voltage and V1 is the input voltage of the first stage. So gain is the ratio of output voltage by input voltage. So V2 by V1 of the first stage gain AV1 is equal to V2 by V1. Here you can see in the figure. So this V2 is the gain of the output voltage of the first stage and V1 is the input voltage. So we have the expression for voltage gain of the amplifier. Gain is represented with capital A, and since it is the voltage gain, so AV, and it is the first stage, so we have one more letter 1. AV1 is the gain of the voltage gain of the first stage, where it is the ratio of output voltage. Output voltage of the first stage is V2 and the input voltage of the first stage is V1. Okay. So the gain of the first stage amplifier is AV1 is equal to V2 by V1. Similarly, the gain of the second stage amplifier, we have the gain of the second stage amplifier. So the gain of the second stage amplifier, here we can write similarly, we can write the expression for the gain of the second stage amplifier is gain is A, capital letter A, and since it is the voltage gain AV, V represents the voltage, so voltage gain AV, and it is the second stage, so AV2 is equal to the second stage. For the second stage amplifier, V3 is the output voltage, output by the V2 is the input voltage. So the gain of the second stage amplifier is AV2. Voltage gain of the second stage amplifier AV2 is the ratio of V3 by V2. So here we can represent AV2 is equal to V3 by V2. Similarly, the gain of a multi-stage amplifier, the voltage gain of the multi-stage amplifier is here. We can give the expression. See, now the overall gain of this two-stage amplifier is the overall gain of the multi-stage amplifier. For finding the overall gain of the multi-stage amplifier, so here we have to take the overall gain of the multi-stage amplifier AV. The total gain of the overall gain of the multi-stage amplifier is the ratio of the output voltage of the multi-stage amplifier, that is V3, by the input voltage of the multi-stage amplifier. This is the multi-stage amplifier. So multi-stage amplifier, so the output voltage is V3 and the input voltage is V1. So we can write this further. This expression V3 by V1 is equal to V2 by V1 into and V3 by V2. V3 by V2. So so these two V2 gets cancelled. So this is V3 by. So AV, the overall gain of the multi-stage amplifier, is given by the expression AV is equal to, since the multi-stage amplifier, we have the output voltage is V3 and the input voltage is V1. So it is given equal to you can write this expression as V2 by V1 into V3 by V2. So here V2 gets cancelled, so giving rise to the equation that is V3 by V1. So here, so the multi-stage amplifier, overall gain of the multi-stage amplifier is the individual gain product of the gains of the first and second stage. So here you can write the expression for the multi-stage amplifier. Here AV is equal to V3 by V1, which is equal to V2 by V1 into V3 by V2. So here V2 by V1 is nothing but the gain of the first stage amplifier, that is AV1, and similarly the ratio of V3 by V2, that is the gain of the second stage, voltage gain of the second stage amplifier. So the overall gain of two-stage amplifier is the product of the gains of the individual stages, that is AV is equal to AV1 into AV2. So this is the expression for the gain of the multi-stage amplifier. So we can write this expression for n-stage amplifier. For n-stage amplifier, the overall gain of an n-stage amplifier is An. We can write the overall gain of n-stage cascaded amplifier is given by the expression AVN is equal to A1 into A2 into and so on into An. So the product of the gains of individual stages up to the nth stage. So voltage gain of the multi-stage amplifier is equal to the product of the gains of the individual stages. For n-stage cascade amplifier, the magnitude of the voltage gain AV is the product of AV1 into AV2 into AV3 and so on into AVN. So the total here, the phase shift here, the total phase shift theta is the sum of the phase shifts of n number of stages, that is theta is equal to theta 1 plus theta 2 plus so on plus theta n. So the phase shift is the sum of the phase shift of n number of stages. So coming to, since the gain, representation of gain in the decibels, so when the number of stages are more, the gain of the amplifier becomes very high. So to represent the gain of an amplifier, very large gain of an amplifier, we require more number of digits. So it is difficult to remember the gain of the amplifier when it has more number of digits. So to avoid the representation of gain with many number of digits, and also when the gain of the amplifier is very small, so it is difficult to remember. So when the gain is represented with a many number of digits, it is not possible to represent the gain. It is not possible to remember the number of digits when it is represented with more number of digits. So we can represent that gain using the dB scale. Here the gain is represented with the dB by using the formula 10 log of P out by P in to the base 10. So voltage gain, since it is the power gain, the formula of power gain is 10 log to the base P out by P in to the base 10. Similarly, the voltage gain here, the voltage gain, you can write the expression voltage gain in decibels, 20 log of V out by V in to the base 10. Since the voltage is the power is equal to the voltage V square by R, so we can write the expression for voltage gain is equal to 20 log V out by V in to the base 10. Similarly, we can write the expression for current gain is equal to 20 log of I out by I in to the base 10. See, if the gain is suppose the gain of the amplifier is 1 lakh, so that it is going to have the digits 1 after 1 we have 5 zeros. So it is like that. If the gain of the amplifier is 10 lakhs or 1 crore, so it is difficult to remember the number of zeros. So if let us consider one example here, the representation of what is the importance of representing the gain in decibels. Suppose if the gain of the amplifier is 1 lakh, so that is the AV is equal to 1000000, that we can represent 10 power 5. So simply using dB scale we can write this as equal to AV is equal to 20 log of 10 power 5 to the base 10. So simply it is equal to 20 into 5 is equal to 100. So here the gain of 1 lakh 1000000. So we can simply represent it with 100 dB. So instead of representing the gain 1000000, so simply we can write that gain is equal to 100 dB. So only using 2 digits we can represent the gain using dB scale. Similarly, if the gain of the amplifier is very small, too small, the gain of the amplifier is too small, 0.0000001, so we can write that is equal to 10 power minus 5. So the gain of the amplifier, that is 0.0000 10 power minus 6. So this we can write the expression using dB scale, AV in dB, that 20 log of 10 power minus 6. 10 power minus 6. So 20 log of 10 power minus 6 we can write equal to, that is 6 into 20 minus 6 into 20 is equal to minus 120 dB. Minus 120 dB. So therefore the gain of the amplifier that is very small. When the gain of the amplifier is very small, 0.000001, a very small number which is very difficult to remember, 0.000001. So simply that gain we can represent using dB scale, that is with minus 120 dB. It is easy to remember the gain minus 120 than the gain with 0.000001. So it is always difficult to remember when the gain is of the amplifier is very too small, or if the gain of the amplifier is very too large, then we are going to use the dB scale. So using the dB scale we can represent the gain with less number of digits, So that is the advantage of using the dB scale. So using the dB scale we can represent the gain of a large or a very small gain of the amplifier with less number of significant digits. Coming to the properties of the voltage and power gain, see here. So when it is 10 power 1, the power gain in decibels is 0 dB, we can represent. When the gain of the amplifier is 100, that is power gain is factor is 2, 10 into 10 power 2. So the dB scale it is plus 3, power gain is 3 dB, and when comes to voltage gain it is only 6 dB. When the factor is only 10, power gain is 10 dB, and the voltage gain is 20 dB. The 10 power that is factor 0.1 means 10 power minus 1. So 20 log of 10 power minus 1, we can to the base 10 we can write, that is let us see this factor 10.1 how it is converted into dB. Factor 0.1. See here, factor 10.1 factor 0.1 we can write 10 power minus 1. So 10 log of 20 log of 10 power minus 1 we can write equal to minus 1 into 20, so is equal to 20 minus 20 dB. So factor 0.1 we can represent it in dB scale, which is equal to minus 20 dB. So factor 0.1 we can represent it in voltage, that is voltage gain in dB is minus 20 dB. If it is power gain, it will become minus 1 into 10, it is equal to minus 10. So like that, if a factor is 0.00001, suppose if the factor is like this, if the gain is a voltage gain factor is equal to 0 0 0 0 1. So we can write it is which is equal to 10 power minus 5, 10 power minus 5. So power gain power gain we can power gain AP we can write is equal to 10 log of 10 power minus 5. So that is equal to minus 5 into 10, so minus 50 dB. So if it is a voltage gain in dB, voltage gain in dB scale, we can write that is 20 log of 10 power minus 5. So 10 power minus 5, so minus 5 into 20, which is equal to minus 100 dB. So here this is a small value, it is difficult to remember zeros after fractional value, after the fractional value. So it is not it is difficult to remember the number of zeros before 1. So 0 0 0 0 1. If the gain is too small than this 0.00000001, like that we can, it is difficult to remember the zeros before 1. So in such case we can represent the gain using dB scale. So a small values or a very large values of gain we can represent using dB scale with a less number of significant digits. That is the use. That is only 2 zeros it is required after 1. So it is, we can easily remember minus 100 than this 0.00001. So that is the need of using dB scale, representing dB in gain in dBs. And one more advantage of representing gain in decibels is that our human eye responds to the sound intensities in the dB scale, not on the normal scale. So when we are designing the amplifier, so that should the amplifier sound amplification of the sound signal should follow the hearing capacity of the human being. So here human ears responds to the sound signals in the dB scale. So it is better to represent the gain of the amplifier in dB scale rather than the normal scale. So that is advantage of using representing gain in decibels. And one more advantage is that the gain of the multi-stage n-stage cascaded amplifier is the product of the gains of the individual stages. That is the A is the total gain, is the product of the A1 into A2 into A3 into and so on into A. This we can represent using the logarithm, applying logarithm on both sides. 10 log of A is equal to 10 log of A1 into A2 into A3 into An. So the logarithm on the product will become in the logarithm scale as a sum. So that is simply we can write AB in decibel of voltage gain. The gain of the multi-stage amplifier, cascade amplifier, is the sum of the gains of the individual stages in dB scale, taking in the dB scale. So A1 in dB, A2 plus A2 in dB plus A3 in dB and so on. So the summation, it is easy to do the sum than the product. So if we do the product of n stages, it will become a large number. So simply by converting the gains into dB scale, and we can add them to get the overall gain of the n stage cascade amplifier in the dB scale. So overall gain of the n stage cascade amplifier in dB is given by A dB is equal to A1 in dB scale, A1 in dB, A2 in gain of the second stage in dB scale, A2 in dB and A3 in dB and so on, An in dB scale. So that so the overall gain of the in dB of multi-stage amplifier is the sum of the gains of the voltage gains of the individual stages. So why dB is used? It permits the gain can be directly added when number of stages are cascaded. Directly we can add the gains in dB in the cascaded amplifier. Use of logarithms changes the multiplication into addition. Use of logarithm allows the multiplication into addition. It permits us to denote both very small as well as very large quantities of linear scale by conveniently a small figures. So that voltage gain, see here, 0.00, see the voltage gain here. This is voltage gain 0.000001. So 1 2 3 4 5 5 zeros before 1, so 10 power minus 6. So we can represent as equal to minus 120 dB. Simply say my 10 power minus 6, so minus 6 into 20, it is equal to 120 dB. Similarly, voltage gain of 456,000. So 456,000, simply it is 456 into 10 power 3. Simply it is equal to 56 dB. 56 dB. So less number of significant digits using the large or a small quantity of voltage gains using logarithm scale. It is easy to represent as less number of significant small figures. That is the advantage of using gain in dB scale. Coming to the frequency response, the frequency response is nothing but the variation of the gain of the amplifier with the frequency. So the gain of the amplifier depends on the frequency of the input signal to be amplified. So when with the frequency, the gain of the amplifier is going to be changed. With the frequency of the signal, the gain of the amplifier is going to be changed. So it is the curve, it is the plot showing the relationship between the gain and frequency response. Is the plot showing the response of the gain with the frequency, variation of the gain with the frequency of the input signal. So here the gain, if we see the frequency response plot of any amplifier, then it shows that we can identify that the gain decreases both at low and high frequencies, and it will be constant in the mid frequency region. So the gain decreases at low frequencies and also at high frequencies, and the gain remains constant in the mid frequencies. So this is the frequency response of the amplifier. So the frequency response of the amplifier is the range of frequency, the variation of the gain of the amplifier with the frequency. The plot showing the variation of the gain of the amplifier with frequency is known as frequency response. The curve between the gain and signal frequency of an amplifier is known as the frequency response. See here. So here, see the graph. So here the frequency is varying. So the gain of the amplifier is changing with the frequency. So the gain of the amplifier with the frequency, it is the plot that is called as frequency response. Here the maximum gain we are applying in the mid frequency, and the gain will falls at low and high. The gain will decreases with the low when the frequency is small, and when the frequency is very high, the gain going to be decreased, and the frequency is the gain is maximum in the mid frequencies. The bandwidth this is the frequency response, and coming to the bandwidth of the amplifier. So bandwidth of the amplifier is nothing but the range of frequencies over which the gain is remains fairly constant. The range of frequencies over which the gain of the amplifier remains fairly constant, or in particularly we can say define the range of frequencies over which the gain is equal to or greater than 70.7% of the maximum gain. 70.7% of the maximum 3 dB. This is 70.707 times of the maximum is called as 3 dB frequencies. So the range of bandwidth is defined as the range of frequencies over which the gain of the amplifier remains fairly constant, that is its gain remains more than 70.7% of the maximum gain. That is called as bandwidth of the amplifier. So the frequencies, the gain remains constant in the mid frequency region from one point of frequency to another point of frequency. This range of frequencies between the two frequencies, in the mid frequencies, the gain remains constant. That frequency range we call it as a bandwidth, where the gain remains fairly constant, and fairly constant above 70.7% of the maximum gain. The gain, we call it as a bandwidth range of that range we call it as a bandwidth, and simply that is nothing but the 3 dB range, 3 dB bandwidth. So lower cutoff frequency f1, frequency at which the magnitude of the low frequency range falls to 0.707 times of the maximum gain. Lower cutoff frequency. So between the two frequencies, as I said, between the two frequencies, that is f1 and f2, the gain remains. This is the region where the gain remains almost fairly constant. So this range of frequencies f1 and f2, between f1 and f2, the gain remains above and more than greater than or equal to 70.7% of the maximum gain. This is called as bandwidth. So here the f1 we call it as lower cutoff frequency, and f2 we call it as upper cutoff frequency, and the bandwidth range, the range of frequencies is the difference of the two, that is f2 minus f1, we call it as it's a bandwidth of the amplifier. So the f1, where f1 is the frequency at which the magnitude of the low frequency range falls to 7.707 times of the maximum gain, and upper cutoff frequency is the frequency at which the magnitude of the voltage gain in the high frequency range falls to 0.707 times of the maximum gain, where f1 and f2 are also known as 3 dB frequencies or half power frequencies. If we convert maximum, that at this point the gain becomes maximum by 1 by root 2 times of the maximum value, 1 by root 2 times of the maximum value. So when we convert this 1 by root 2, 10 log of 1 by root 2, it will becomes equal to 3 dB. So if we convert that value 0.707, that is 0.07 log, 10 log of 0.707, it will become equal to 3 dB. So hence this point is known as 3 dB range, 3 dB frequencies. So we can write that as expression. So why they are called as f1 and f2 are called as 3 dB frequencies. So at this point the gain becomes at that point the gain becomes the maximum 0.707 times of the maximum gain. So that we can write maximum by root 2 is equal to 0.707 times of the maximum gain. So converting this 0.707 into logarithm scale, so 10 log of 0.707 will becomes equal to 3 dB. So at this point of frequency, so at f1 or f2, the gain becomes equal to 0.707 times of maximum value. At f1 lower cutoff frequency, f2 upper cutoff frequency, the gain becomes equal to 0.707 times. If we convert this 0.707 into logarithm scale, it will become equal to 3 dB. Hence these frequencies f1 and f2 are called as 3 dB frequencies. 3 dB frequencies. The gain bandwidth product here always see here the gain bandwidth product. Coming to the gain bandwidth product of the amplifier, always the gain bandwidth product of the amplifier is going to be a constant. So it is also known as figure of merit. More the value of the gain bandwidth product, better is the performance of the amplifier. So gain bandwidth product, the gain bandwidth product is called as a gain GBW, gain bandwidth product. GBW is a constant. For any amplifier it is going to be a constant. It is going to be a constant. So suppose so the gain bandwidth product, see here, these are the this is the frequency response of two amplifiers. So this is the bandwidth of the first amplifier 1, BW1, and this is the bandwidth of the, and this is the gain of the A1, amplifier 1. So always this is the bandwidth of the amplifier, and this is the gain of the amplifier 2. This is the bandwidth of the amplifier 2, BW2. See, always the gain bandwidth product of any amplifier, if that is A1 into BW1 is a constant, So when we are increasing the gain, its bandwidth is going to be decreased. If we decrease the gain, its bandwidth is going to be increased. Always see, this is the constant. Suppose it is equal to 100. Suppose this is 20 into the bandwidth is so let us consider example, gain bandwidth product of the amplifier with one example. Gain bandwidth product is always a constant, is always a constant. So let us consider it is equal to 1000. So which is gain bandwidth product, that is A into bandwidth 1. A1 into bandwidth 1 is equal to 1000, that is 10 into 100. So here the gain is A1 is 10 and bandwidth is 100. So suppose here the gain is small and bandwidth is large. So like this, the response is like this. Bandwidth is large, that is 100, and the gain is simply 10. So if we increase the gain to 100, suppose A2 is 100, A2 is, this is 100, this is 100. Now its bandwidth will become equal to 10. Its band. So if A2 is equal to A2 is, now the gain is increased from 10 to 100, then the bandwidth will become from 100 to 10. So this is the relationship between the gain and bandwidth product. So always it is going to be a constant, and its value, more the value of gain bandwidth product. GBW is GBW, gain bandwidth product of 100, and gain, when we compare gain bandwidth product of 1000, so the gain bandwidth product of 1000 amplifier with gain bandwidth product of 1000 is showing more better response than the gain bandwidth product of the amplifier with 100. So more the value, better is the performance of the amplifier. Always the gain bandwidth product is going to be any amplifier, it is a constant, and it shows the figure of merit. More the value of a gain bandwidth product of an amplifier, better is the performance of the amplifier. Okay. So and also you should remember the gain and bandwidth. If we want to increase the gain of the amplifier, it is at the cost of reducing the bandwidth, and if you want to increase the bandwidth of the amplifier, it is at the cost of reducing the gain of the amplifier, because the gain of bandwidth product for any amplifier is constant. So when we want to increase the gain, its bandwidth is going to be reduced. If you want to increase the bandwidth, its gain is going to be reduced. So this is the relationship between the gain bandwidth product of any amplifier. So what we have studied in this topic, we have studied the definitions of gain of the amplifier, bandwidth of the amplifier, frequency response, and a representation of a gain of the amplifier, multi-stage amplifier in dB scale, and 3 dB frequencies, and also the gain bandwidth product of the amplifier. So coming small questions on the topic, the gain of 100 000 so 1 after 6 zeros we have, so that we can represent with the dB scale, which value it is equal to 30 dB, 60 dB, 20 dB, 600 dB. So we can write this one gain of 1000000, we can write 10 power 6, we can write that is equal to 10 power 6 is equal to so we can write the gain 10 log of 10 power 6, so that is equal to 6 into 10 is equal to 60 dB. So answer is B. Answer is B. And 1 dB corresponds to change in power level 1 dB 10 power 0 means both the values of 10 power 0 means 1, both are equal to 1, output voltage and input voltage both are equal to 1. So 1 dB 10 into 1 by 10 into 1 by 10 equal to 1 by 10 is equal to 0.1 10 power 0.1 means 1 by 10 1 output is 1, input is 10, so 1 by 10 we can write equal to 0.1 10 power 0.1 10 into 0.1 is 10 into 0.1 is 1, so 1 by 10. So power level, change in power level is how much? Change in power level by 1 dB corresponds to power level 1 dB. See here, power level 1 with the table, power level of 1 dB means we can write 10 power level of 1 dB power level of 1 dB 1 dB is equal to 10 into 0.1 10 into 0.1 is equal to 1 dB. So this we can write this C is equal to 10 log of 1 by 10. 0.1 we can write to the base 10. So that is output P out is 1 by 10. So it is 1 by 10. Into 100, so it is equal to 10 times 10%, the gain decreases. It is 10%, not given here. The bandwidth of the single stage amplifier is dash that of the multi-stage amplifier. The bandwidth of the single stage amplifier is more than that of multi-stage, same as that of the multi-stage, less than that of the multi-stage, that. So that is less than that of the multi-stage. And the upper lower cutoff frequency is also called as the resonant frequency, sideband 3 dB frequency, none of them. That is called as 3 dB frequencies. Coming to the some assignment problem, the input power to an amplifier is 15 milliwatts, while the output power is 2 watts. Find the decibel gain of the amplifier. Input power is 15 milliwatts and the output power is 2 watts. 2 P out is 2 by 15 into 10 power minus 3. 10 power minus 3. To that we have to convert that into dB scale. A multi-stage amplifier consists of 3 stages. The voltage gain of the stages are 30, 50 and 60. Calculate the overall gain in dB. Overall gain in the gains of the individual stages are 30, 50 and 60. A1, A2, A3 are 30, 50 and 60. Convert that 30 into dB, 50 into 50 gain into dB and 60 into dB scale, and add them to get the overall gain in decibels. The questions frequently coming on the topic are the gain bandwidth of an amplifier, define the gain bandwidth of an amplifier, define the decibel gain and frequency response of an amplifier, define the lower and upper cutoff frequencies, and write a short note on the gain bandwidth, importance of the gain bandwidth product of the amplifier. Gain bandwidth product of the amplifier. So far we have studied. In the small signal amplifiers. In the small signal amplifiers, unit chapter 1, we have studied the basic amplifier circuit using BJT in CE mode. Then we have studied today definition of frequency response, bandwidth of the amplifier, gain of the amplifier, multi-stage amplifier and multi-stage amplifier, representation of the gain in decibels, and also the concept of the gain bandwidth product. Now we will go to the H parameters of the transistor. 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 Define the H parameters of the transistor. Hybrid parameters of the transistor. See here a hybrid model of the equivalent model of the transistor. Here hybrid. So what is the need of representation of the transistor in the hybrid model? Because the transistor parameters like voltage and current gain and input impedance and output impedance, it is having the properties of voltage gain. The transistor is having the properties of, it has the important properties. It has a gain and it has a bandwidth. Apart from the gain and bandwidth, it is showing some input impedance and output impedance. So these the units of these parameters of the amplifier, like gain, bandwidth. Gain you don't have units. Bandwidth in represented of in a hertz, and the input impedance and output impedance. So one amplifier is going to have different parameters, and they will have different units. So it is showing different hybrid so it is for a resistance model. So if it is not possible to represent the transistor using Z parameters, impedance parameters or the admittance parameters. So because it is showing the parameters with different units. For gain it is, for bandwidth it is hertz, and in input impedance it is ohms. So it is better to represent the transistor using the hybrid model than the impedance or the admittance model. So hybrid model, hybrid equivalent model, the transit to represent that in this topic we will study the hybrid H parameter model of the transistor, because it is showing the different units, the parameters showing different units. So we will use the hybrid model rather than the impedance model, impedance or Z parameter model, or admittance Y parameter model for the transistor. So first, what is the need of representing the transistor as a model? Because for doing some mathematical analysis, how the transistor is working mathematically, to do some calculations, analysis, to do some analysis, mathematical analysis, we have to represent the transistor based on the property of the transistor. It should be represented to its equivalent circuit, electrical circuit, so that we can calculate the how the parameters are varying with with the variation of the parameters. So we have to equivalent circuit also. That equivalent circuit shows the properties of the transistor, so that properties we can calculate of the transistor. Properties of the transistor are calculated using the equivalent circuit. So we have to represent the transistor with its equivalent circuit to do some analysis. So we have to represent the transistor with its equivalent circuit to do some analysis. So that is the equivalent circuit, which is nothing but equal to the hybrid parameter model. It is the equivalent circuit. Hybrid parameter model is the equivalent circuit of the transistor. Equivalent means it's equivalent to the properties of the transistor. Properties of the transistor are represented with the equivalent circuit. That circuit we can use to do some analysis, mathematical analysis, to do some calculations in the so we do this, we estimate the equivalent circuit of the transistor. So that equivalent circuit here is nothing is the hybrid equivalent circuit. Hybrid model is the hybrid equivalent circuit of the transistor. So transistor, we have three terminals, but here the hybrid equivalent two-port model. So we have four terminals. So to represent the transistor in an equivalent circuit using hybrid equivalent circuit, so we have to represent, make the one terminal of the transistor common for both the input and output, so that it will become two-port model. One terminal of the transistor is common, making one terminal of the transistor common between the input and output. Suppose if I make this emitter terminal is common for the this is the output terminal collector, and this is the emitter terminal, which is common for both input side and output side. It is common. So this is called as common emitter configuration, CE configuration. So this is now will become a two-port model. So by making one terminal common between the two, it will become a two-port model. Transistor will become a two-port model, and then we can easily represent its equivalent circuit using hybrid equivalent circuit. So let us consider the voltage is V1, input voltage to the transistor is V1, and because of this V1 it is going to produce a current I1, and similarly at the output we have a V2, and because of this V2 we have a current I2, we have a current in the I2 in the circuit I2. So using the relation see here we can write the to represent the transistor in equivalent model. So here for any transistor, the input voltage and the output current, the input voltage V1 and the output current, the input voltage and the output current is a function of the input voltage and the output current of a transistor are the functions of input current and the output voltage. So for any transistor the input current and the output voltage is going to be constant. Output voltage, and we cannot change the output voltage for a transistor, it has certain value output voltage and the input because of its input current. So these are the independent parameters of the transistor, that is the input current and the output voltage are the independent for any transistor, because once the transistor is manufactured, we cannot add carriers, some carriers externally to increase its conductivity. So we can change the conductivity, but we cannot increase beyond that level. So we cannot draw or we cannot add extra carriers. So its current is going to be a constant. Since the current is constant and its voltage also going to be output voltage coming from and it is showing some resistance, so that is also going to be constant. That resistance of that transistor depends on the material, semiconductor material deposition, so that is also going to be, so the voltage remains constant, but we can adjust the input voltage and output current. Both those are the dependent parameters, and the input current and the output voltage of the transistor are independent parameters. So we can write using the matrix. Using the matrix we can write for any transistor we can write I1 V2 H11 H12 H21 H22 that we can write V1 I2. So V1 I2 are the dependent parameters which depends on the independent parameters I1 and V2. So we can write, doing matrix multiplication, we can write I1 for I1 for V1 for V1 we can write the equation V1 is equal to I1 H11 I1 H11 I1 H11 plus I1 H11 plus I1 H21, I1 H21. So this is I1 H11 plus I1 H21, I1 sorry so V1, so we can write V1 I1 into H11 plus V2 you can write the equations here you can write the equations V1 I2 is equal to I1 V2 H11 H1 H12 H21 H22. So we can write my equation for V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H11 I1 plus H12 V2. V1 is equal to V1, this V1 equation of V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2. Similarly, we can write equation for I2. This equation for I2 is equal to, similarly we can write equation for I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. So like this we can write the equation for V1 and I2 in terms of the parameters of the transistor H11 V1 we can write the equation V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2 and I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. Let V1 is equal to input voltage Vi and I1 is equal to input current Ii. V2 is the output voltage and I2 is the output current I0. So Vi input voltage is equal to H11 I input current In and H12 V0, and output current I2, that is I0, is equal to H21 In and H22 V0. So these two equation V in and I0 we can represent using the circuit. That input voltage Vi depends on the two parameter. Vin is equal to H11 I1 and H22 V0. So V input voltage in the input circuit input voltage we can represent it is the sum of the H11 I in, H11 I in, and H12 V0. So H11, let us first find out what is H11. To know the value of H11, we should reduce the term H12 V2 to 0. H11 to find first we should know. So the input voltage and output current of a transistor depends on because the input current and output voltage of a transistor are constant. So the input voltage and output current, input voltage and output current of the transistor, to find the input voltage and output current of the transistor, that depends on the H parameters of the transistor, H11, H12, H21 and H22. H11, H12, H21 and H22. So we have to find out what is H11. To find the H11, the term H12 V0 should be reduced to 0. So to reduce H12 V0 to 0, H12 we cannot reduce because it is a property of the port property of the transistor. So by reducing V0 to 0 by short circuiting the output voltage, we can make V0 to 0 by short circuiting the output terminals. So therefore the output voltage will become 0. V0 will become 0 by short circuiting the output terminals between collector and emitter. Therefore H12 V0 will become 0. So that is V0 is become to here here this V0 will become will reduce V0 output voltage of the transistor to 0 by short circuiting the terminals. So therefore H12 the term H12 V0 will become 0, and we can find from this equation H11 I1 is equal to V in. And therefore H11 we can find out V in by I in, H11. So input V in by I in is nothing but ratio of V in by I in is nothing but equal to impedance input resistance. So H11 become nothing but equal to input resistance. And similarly we can find the other parameter H12. To find the parameter H12 we have to reduce the first parameter H11 I1 must be reduced to 0. So H11 I in is reduced to 0. By I in is H11 cannot reduce to 0, but I in we can reduce to 0 by open circuiting the terminals. So input terminals, open circuiting the input terminals. So that is this open circuiting the input terminals, input current becomes 0. So when input current becomes 0, this will become 0, this will become equal to 0. So when this will become equal to 0, we can find V in is equal to H12 V0. V in is equal to H12 V0. Then we can find out H12 is equal to V in by V0. So this is the H12 is the ratio of V in by V0. That is the gain taking in the reverse direction. That is V0 by V in is the gain, but here the H12 is the input by output. So it is the reverse gain, reverse voltage gain. It is called as reverse. H12 is called as reverse voltage gain, HR. It is called as reverse voltage gain. H12 is called as reverse voltage. H12 is called as reverse voltage gain. Similarly, to find H21, we have to find H21. To find H21, this is to find this H21. We have to reduce this term to 0. So again, by reducing the H22 V0 0, so output voltage must be short circuited. short circuited. So therefore when V0 is short circuited, that is output voltage is 0, then we have the equation I0 is equal to S2, I0 is equal to S21 I1, I0 is equal to S21 I1. From that we can find out H21 is equal to I0 by In. So it is the H21 is nothing but I0 by In is nothing but the ratio of output current to the input. It is called as forward current gain. H21 is called H forward current gain. H21 is HF, forward current gain. Then next we will find the other parameter, the last H parameter, that is H22. To find out H22, 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 to find out this H22, we have to reduce this H21 I1 to 0, H21 I1 to 0. So I1 is reduced to 0 by open circuiting the input terminals. To find out H22, the I in must be reduced to 0 by open circuiting the input terminals. So when this this will become 0. When input is open circuited, the H21 I1 will become equal to 0. Therefore I0 is given by I0 is equal to H22 V0. I0 is equal to H22 V0. So we can write the equation for H22. H22 is equal to I0 by V0. I0 by V0. H22 is equal to I0 by V0. So it is the ratio of output current to the output voltage. Ratio of output current to the output admittance. It is nothing but output admittance H0. So we can, that H22 is nothing but output admittance, that is H0. So H11 is the input impedance HI, H12 is the reverse voltage gain HR, H21 is the forward current gain HF, H22 is the output admittance H0. So HI, HR, HF, H0, H1, H11, H12, H21, H22 are the so this H11 represents the input port. H11 port represents the input impedance, input resistance. H12 at port H12 it is showing the property of reverse voltage gain. H21 it is showing the forward current gain, and H0 it is the output admittance. So the H11 we can find H11, that is HI, we can find using H1 by short circuiting H1 input impedance and forward current gain are the short circuited parameters, and the reverse voltage gain H12 which is equal to HR, and H0 are the open circuited parameters. When we'll get these parameters HI and HF by short circuiting the voltage, so hence are called as short circuited parameters HI and HF. And HR and H0 we find HR and H0 by open circuiting the current, so it's those are open circuited parameters. The second subscript indicates the common base so HI is the input resistance, HR is the reverse voltage gain, HF is the forward current gain, H0 is the output admittance. And by adding the second subscript indicates the common base, common emitter, common collector configuration. So common emitter configuration, for common emitter configuration we can write so these are the H parameters of the transistor for any transistor configuration. To find the H parameters of a common emitter configuration, we will see the H parameters for the three configurations separately. So the H parameters of a CE transistor, input impedance is the ratio of input current to the input voltage to the input current. So for the transistor CE configuration, common emitter configuration, input is the base, so it is the input is the base current, base terminal. So we have the input voltage to the input current VB by IB. HI is VB by IB, input impedance. So HIE, that second subscript HIE in the term HIE, I represents the input impedance and E represents the configuration, common emitter configuration, CE configuration. So that E represents the common emitter configuration, common emitter configuration. So HIE is input, HIE is the input impedance of the common emitter configuration, is the ratio of its input voltage to the input current. So for the CE configuration, input voltage is the base voltage VB and input current is the IB, so VB by IB. HIE is VB by IB. And the reverse voltage gain, for reverse voltage gain, finding the reverse voltage HRE, we have to find IB to input voltage, input current to be 0, making input current to be 0. The voltage output, input voltage VB by the output voltage VC. Output voltage, it is the HRE, the reverse voltage gain taking the reverse direction, that is the input voltage by output voltage. Input voltage is VB, output voltage is VC, it is the ratio of HRE. So these are the HIE and HRE. Coming to the HFE, forward current gain, HF forward current gain of the common emitter configuration HFE is the ratio of output current to the input current. Output current is collector current, input current is base current, IC by IB. And similarly, the output admittance is the ratio of output current by output voltage. Output current, so this we can obtain by making the input current to 0 by open circuiting the terminals. So the HFE we can find out making the output voltage to 0, and admittance we can find by making the input current to 0, IB 0, that is the IC by VC. So the H parameters of the common emitter configuration, VB by IB, common emitter configuration, HIE. So for common base configuration, it is a common base configuration. The input impedance, we'll see the input impedance for different configurations. For common emitter configuration that we have calculated, that is HI is equal to input voltage VB by input current IB. For common base configuration, the emitter current is the emitter is the input and collector is the output. So emitter is the input, so that is again VE, the emitter voltage is VE and the input current is IE. Input current for a common base configuration, emitter is the input and VE by IE. And common collector configuration, for common collector configuration, collector is common, so the input is the base and output is the emitter. So common base configuration for calculation of input impedance HIB, that is common base common collector HIC, the input is the base, so VB by IB. Actually it in this you have to write this equation. Here we have to write IE. Here IB is mentioned, but it is IE. So similarly, we can calculate the reverse voltage gain HR. Forward current gain unitless, it is HF for all the three, and output admittance H0 for different configurations. see in the next class. So the parameters, H parameters, we have H parameter model of the transistor and H parameter calculated the H parameters for the C configuration. So we'll stop here.